Good morning. I hope everyone is staying warm. Welcome to our 2022 Annual Farmers Market Association meeting. We almost got to meet face to face, but between the continuing concerns with COVID and now the weather, we did not want to put anybody at risk. Regardless of the way we're meeting, I hope that you all gain a great bit of information on today's meeting. So again, welcome to all. We are so very excited to get this year kicked off. You deserve to celebrate yourself and your work in 2022, as we have all been through some challenging times these past 2 years. As a strong association, we will all have the opportunity to continue this positive impact this year. I am Katrina Bettencourt, the Executive Director of the Arkansas Coalition for Obesity Prevention. ArCOP is a parent organization to the Arkansas Farmers Market Association. So I have been with ArCOP since 2010 and continue to love the work we do within our communities. And now additionally, with our retail sites, managers, vendors, and customers. ArCOP has always been a virtual organization with the opportunity to visit communities, stores, and markets in person all across the state. So these past 2 years have been a little restrictive, but we have still been able to come out and see all the hard work you guys are doing. Today, you will get to hear from our staff and some guest presenters about some of the great things that we're doing across the state, as well as some new information for the stores and the markets. So I would like to introduce you to all of our staff. If you're familiar with ArCOP, you already know these veterans, but starting from the left is Steve Powell. He is our Health Outreach Coordinator, and then Ashley there in the center is our Health Education Coordinator. And as many of you probably already know, Jeremy Adams, which is our Arkansas Farmers Market Association and Double Up Food Bucks Project Manager. So ArCOP cannot function without these three experts. They have all gone above and beyond in their line of work, and they're all very passionate about what they do. Okay, so we have some housekeeping. This entire meeting will be recorded and put on our website. You will also receive a link to the video to rewatch it at your leisure or share with others. We will be keeping you muted throughout the entire presentation, but want to encourage you to use the chat box. Please feel free to ask any questions in that chat box. We have the ability to answer you both privately or publicly. We will have staff on standby answering questions. If we do not have the answer immediately for you, we will follow up with you after the meeting. At the end of our presentation, we will have an open discussion and you will be unmuted for an ask and answer session. So here's an overview of today's agenda. I'll be providing just a quick ArCOP overview. Then we'll have Steve Powell, who will present on the Arkansas Farmers Market Association outreach and membership. Jeff Johnson with the Department of Health will present next. Then Karen Reynolds, she's with the Arkansas Department of Agriculture. And then Jeremy will conclude with the overview of Double Up Food Bucks. ArCOP will lead an open discussion session at the end, like I stated just a little while ago. We will ask you all questions and answer questions that you may have. This will provide us a chance just to understand each other's needs. So to start, let's just review our coalition's mission. It's to increase access to healthy, affordable food and access to physical activity through the built environment. I'm going to briefly review the strategic plan for ArCOP, then we'll go into the strategic plan for AFMA. So ArCOP focuses on policy, system, and environmental enhancements at the local level to make statewide changes. We follow the PSC development framework when making these changes. So our team collaborates with the Growing Healthy Communities and then AFMA partners. We prioritize these action plans, we advocate, we educate, then we implement the plan. And then of course, we always follow up with evaluation. ArCOP has these three primary functions. The first one on the left-hand side is knowledge sharing. You will get to hear from Steve next about how we achieve this through resources, which we share education materials, trainings, and mentoring. Next is capacity building through our coalition and AFMA partners. And then of course, the third one is community action, which is just putting those plans into action through recognition, funding, and planning. So this is our ArCOP tree. And if you look at it, there's three different branches. Our one on the left is 3M, which is just our mayors mentoring mayors. We work with city elected officials. We really focus in equity and growing healthy places. At the top or in the center there is GHC, which stands for Growing Healthy Communities. It really focuses a lot on our mission, which is access to physical activity and access to nutrition. That is the area also that we work in policy, system, and environmental changes. And then if you see on the right-hand side, that third branch is you guys, AFMA. So we really work with doing farmer and grower support, growing healthy produce programs, and also our Double Up Food Bucks program. So that last branch we just talked about, which is our AFMA branch, we look forward to continuing working with our farmers and growers across the state. So we do this through these 4 strategies, which strategy 1 is that we provide resources to farmers, growers, vendors. It's increasing opportunity through market analysis and data gathering. And then strategy 2, we produce growth through effective partnership. So strategy 3, we enhance programming through current market and vendor opportunities. And finally, 4, we provide branding and marketing for your locations. So we can go further into depth about this. We strongly encourage you to ask us questions about this, and we can kind of see how we can help you out as a vendor, market manager, grower, farmer, all the above. Now on to our presenters. Please enjoy it. And as a reminder, you will be muted. So please ask those questions in the chat box and we will respond promptly. Now I am going to pass it over to Steve for a brief overview.
Well, thank you. And hi, everybody. I am Steve Powell, the Health Outreach Coordinator here at the Arkansas Farmers Market Association and the Arkansas Coalition for Obesity Prevention. And let me just start by saying how bummed I am that we're not meeting in person. Man, we had been planning and hoping and looking forward to this for months, and now the winter weather has got us, and it's just really heartbreaking that we're not together all in the same room. I had met so many of you over the course of the past year as we visited farmers markets, and really look forward to catching up and seeing what was going on. But we'll do what we have to do, and I hope you can get some valuable information from this meeting and enjoy what we have planned for you. Here's the obligatory bio page on me. I moved to Arkansas in 1996, worked for 15 years at KATV as an anchor for Good Morning Arkansas, did a little daybreak, and was a reporter. After I left television, I had a video production business, and for the last 3.5 years, I've been the health outreach coordinator here at ArCOP in the Arkansas Farmers Market Association. As you can see from the pictures on your screen of my family, I'm a lucky man, both professionally and personally. But since I am the health outreach coordinator here, let's talk about how we reach out to the public at the Arkansas Farmers Market Association. If you follow us on Facebook, you know this is one place we are really prolific. You see the big red post up there that says we've posted 2,000 times almost since last year. That's probably conservative. A little history here. The Arkansas Farmers Market Association Facebook page has been a thing for a long time, but it lay dormant for years. But about this time last year, we sort of got the keys to the page. And when we did, we decided that we were going to make it the place to find out what was happening with Arkansas farmers markets. We were going to turn it into, and I think we have, into what amounts to a news ticker for what's happening with Arkansas farmers markets on a daily basis. And there's a reason for that, a couple of reasons for that. Number one, it helps increase the amount of eyeballs that see what's going on at various farmers markets across the state of Arkansas. And that's important. But also, by aggregating all this information on one page, it allows market managers and vendors to see what's going on in other places. Because if you're a manager, if you're a vendor, it's all you can do. You're working your tail off to get done what you need to get done every week to get your merchandise to market, or to run a market that is satisfying to vendors and customers alike, right? Well, you don't have a lot of time working in that bubble to see what other markets are doing. How are they handling various obstacles or challenges? What are they doing to promote their markets that's working, that can enhance the customer experience or get better attendance at the markets? This sort of allows for the wisdom of crowds, if you will. In this one spot, if you follow us on Facebook, there's a good chance that you can see and learn something from what your fellow Arkansas farmers markets are doing. I can tell you, looking at posts all day long like I do. There's not a week that goes by that I don't read a post about a promotion or something that a vendor is doing where I go, oh, but that's genius. Let's share that. And maybe somebody else can benefit from that. So there's a reason why we're so prolific on Facebook. And that's one of the reasons why is we want you to be able to take advantage of crowds. We also post our original content on there, which we'll talk more about in a minute, or something that maybe one of our other programs is doing, like Jeremy Adams and the wonderful work that Double Up Food Bucks is doing. All those you'll find on the Arkansas Facebook page. Whether it's on a market day, we're sharing live video of what's happening at a market, or some breaking news about a market closing. This is just from this week. Salem Springs has the same weather issues we're having right now, and close their online market. That's information we want to share to a broader audience. And then finally, we also share information from our partners and other folks in the state who also want to see farmers markets succeed. And there are a lot of good ones. But if you follow us on Facebook, I say this all the time. If there's something out there that will make you smarter as a grower or a manager, we want you to take advantage of it. So we're going to share whatever information we can share that we think will make you smarter and better. So there's a lot of good reasons to follow us and like us on Facebook. And I hope you'll share that with your followers so they can jump in and be a part of this too. Market talks are something we started this year, and really proud of what we've done here, because it was a great way to get out and meet people. What market talks are, and you can see them on our webpage, arkansasobesity.org. Go to the Arkansas Farmers Market Association, go down to Market Talks, click on these if you missed them on Facebook. But these are 1 to 3 minute videos profiling farmers markets around the state, hearing from the vendors, hearing from the managers, a little bit about the history of the market, when they meet, what makes them so unique, what they do to promote their markets, what they've learned from all their years of being part of markets, and just some really fantastic success stories. They're all in these market talks. As you can see, we got all over the state. We didn't get to every place we wanted to get to this year, but more on that coming up. But I encourage you, go check out the market talks if you haven't seen those on the Facebook page. Here's another great tool I want to make you aware of that's also on the website, arkansasobesity.org. Again, I'm going to ask you to click on the Arkansas Farmers Market tab, go down to Vendor Guide, and you'll find this great map that Jeremy Adams made that has every farmers market that we know about on it. Simply click on one of those icons and up pops the name of the market. And not just that, but you also get their market days, their hours, their location. It's a fantastic tool, and I encourage you to take it, not only take advantage of it yourself, but to share it with your followers as well. You'd be surprised. Maybe you wouldn't be surprised. I was surprised, at least initially, at how many people I've run across over the last year or so who are farmers market tourists, who love to just on Saturdays go to different farmers markets all over the state. What a great tool for them. So anyhow, that farmers market map is there. You're welcome to share it with anybody you'd like on your Facebook page or however you get your message out. Finally, let's talk about our plans and ideas for 2022. We do want to do more market talks because it's a great way for us to interface with market managers and tell stories. One of the problems we have with market talks is you can't be everywhere at once. And we want to be there on market days when there's a crowd and all the vendors are there, but that's just not possible. So we have to prioritize, and how we're going to do that going forward is we're going to prioritize our market members of the Arkansas Farmers Market Association first. And if you're not a member of the Arkansas Farmers Market Association, stay tuned. I'm going to tell you how to do that coming up in just a couple of seconds. And then we'll try to get to markets we didn't get to last year as well. Another thing I'd like to do this year, whether we're folding it into the market talks themselves or doing it separately, are profiles on vendors and growers. And this actually makes it easier for us because we don't have to go visit a grower on a market day. We can go on another day when they have some time and go to the farm and sort of pull back the curtain a little bit and let people see how much work these folks are putting in and what they're doing to bring these fabulous fruits and vegetables to market. I think viewers will be fascinated to meet and see this kind of thing. So it's something we want to do this year. This is an idea too on pre-market promotion. I want to throw this out. Maybe we can spitball a little bit on ideas for this, but I would love to do more stuff before market days. Let's just, for example, say market day is on a Saturday, perhaps on a Wednesday or a Thursday, we could do something, whether it's on Zoom or FaceTime or however we want to try to record that and allow our member markets to tell us what they've got going on coming up that week, and what's coming to market, what might be new, any unique vendors that people should check out, that kind of thing. And maybe we could string 4, 5, 6 of those together on one day prior to a market day. And I think people would benefit from watching it, what is ahead at markets for the coming weekend. Just something to think about. If you're interested in that, I'd love to get your thoughts on that. It's just something we've been mulling over doing. And finally, we'd really like to keep growing our following. We have come a long way in a short time. And I'd like to continue on the trajectory that we've set. And again, I'll ask you, would you please share what we do here at the Arkansas Farmers Market Association? Ask people to check out the website, follow us, like us on Facebook, and we can continue to do the important work that I think we're doing here. We would love to have every farmers market, every vendor become a member of the Arkansas Farmers Market Association. Maybe that isn't possible, but it won't be because it's too expensive. We are asking for $25 annually to become part of the Arkansas Farmers Market Association. That essentially pays for our annual meeting and maybe defrays some travel costs. Over the year, we're funded primarily through grants, but we think it's important that you show a commitment to Arkansas farmers markets. So even though it's not very much money, we think it's important because, as it says right there on the screen, our sole purpose is to support and promote Arkansas farmers markets. That's what we do. We're a nonprofit, and we'd love to have you become a member. And it's easy to become a member. All you do is go to arkansasobesity.org. And again, you go to that world famous Arkansas Farmers Market tab, click join the Arkansas Farmers Market Association. We've got 2 ways you can do it. You can print out an application, fill it out at your leisure and mail it to us with a check for $25, or you can do it right there online. You can pay us now, or you can send us a check later on if you prefer. However you'd like to do it. It's very simple. We'd love to have you as a member. And I'd love to have your feedback on anything we've talked about this afternoon. Again, sorry we couldn't meet in person, but I invite you to please ask any questions, give your feedback, criticism, whatever you have, any way you could help us make Arkansas farmers markets better. We're all for it. steve.powell@arkansasobesity.org is the email. You're welcome to call me on the phone as well. I only have one request for you before I let you go, and that's please, next year, can we please meet together in person? Have a great rest of the meeting, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Next up is Jeff Jackson with the Arkansas Department of Health. There he serves as the Retail Food Program Standardization Training Officer. Take it away, Jeff.
Good morning, everybody. As you know, my name is Jeff Jackson, and it's good to be back with you today at the Arkansas Farmers Market Managers Association. So as you may be aware, we do have a new law when it comes to foods that are produced in the home. We had the Cottage Food Act, and now we have the Arkansas Food Freedom Act. So we'll get started talking about that this morning. So just a little bit of history. If you remember back in 2009, or prior to 2009, we prohibited all sales of homemade food products. And then in 2009, we got the Cottage Food Act, which allowed the sales of bakery products, candy, fruit butters, jams and jellies, those type of products directly to the consumer from the home where they were produced. And the sale had to occur at a physical farmers market, county fair, or a special event. It was later amended several times where we included uncut chocolate covered fruits and berries. We allowed sales at online farmers markets, as well as most recently sales to pop-up shops within another established business. And then in 2021, the legislative session passed Act 306, which was going to allow sales through the internet and delivery by mail. However, another act called the Food Freedom Act superseded this act, and it further expanded the homemade foods that are allowed to be sold. So the Food Freedom Act, or Act 1040, allows the sale of any non-time temperature control for safety foods to an informed end consumer, and expands on the locations and methods under which those foods can be sold. I've highlighted non-time temperature control for safety food and informed end consumer because those are two key terms that we'll talk about a little bit more later. Also, you'll notice that there's a link there for the act if you'd like to read that. So what is TCS food? If we're going to know what non-TCS food is, then we have to define what TCS food is. So TCS food is time temperature control for safety food, is food that requires time or temperature control, otherwise known as refrigeration, to limit pathogenic microorganism growth or toxin formation. So we have, if it's food that has to be refrigerated to keep bacteria from growing in it, then it's considered a TCS food. And those types of foods include animal foods, or foods from animal origin, which would be meat, poultry, seafood, dairy, eggs, that are raw or heat treated. And then food of plant origin, which is heat treated or consists of raw seed sprouts, cut melons, cut leafy greens, cut tomatoes, garlic and oil mixtures, and any food that, because of its interaction of its water activity and pH, is designated as product assessment required, or PA, in Table A or Table B. So we'll look at Table A and Table B in just a few minutes, but first, I wanted to discuss briefly with you what water activity is, as well as pH. So water activity is the measure of the amount of water that is available for bacteria to use for growth. It's not necessarily how liquid the water is, simply how much water is available. So water activity is measured in a range from 0 to 1, with 0 being completely devoid of water, absolutely no water in that product, to 1, which would be pure water. So pH is the measure of how acidic or basic a substance is. And you're probably more familiar with pH, probably had some of that in high school or college. And you'll see from this chart below, most of our foods are running from a pH of about 2 up to a pH of about 7. So that's really, where we're looking at that range there. So you'll see from Table A that the interaction of pH and water activity for the control of spores in foods that are heat treated, that means cooked, to destroy vegetative cells and subsequently packaged. So they're canned or jarred of some sort. So as long as that pH is below 4.6, then that product is considered TCS food. Okay, so that's the key term right there, below 4.6. So now that we know what TCS food is, we can define what non-TCS food is. And that's basically food that does not require time or temperature control to limit the pathogenic growth or toxin formation as defined in the rules. So that's the definition from the Act. And so it references our rules for what TCS food is. So what is an informed end consumer? An informed end consumer is a person who's the last person to purchase the homemade product, who does not resell the product, and who has been informed that that product is not regulated, inspected, certified, or made in a facility that is state licensed, permitted, inspected, or regulated. And each product that's sold under this Act has to contain specific labeling and disclosures. So on the labeling, every packaged product has to be affixed with a label that has the following information: the name, address, and telephone number of the producer. Or if you're uncomfortable putting that information out there, you can contact the Department of Agriculture, and they will provide you with an ID number that you can put on your label in place of your name, address, and telephone number. You also have to include the common or the usual name of the food. So if your product is cinnamon rolls, it needs to say cinnamon rolls on that package. You also have to have the ingredients of that food in descending order, in the order of predominance. So for dry products, those products would be based on weight, and for liquid products, that would be based on volume. So for cinnamon rolls as the example, the prominent ingredient in cinnamon rolls is typically flour. So that would be your first ingredient, followed by water, yeast, salt, whatever, sugar, I guess. Sugar would be higher up on the list. The date of the manufacturer and the disclosure statement. This product was produced in a private residence that is exempt from state licensing and inspection. This product may contain allergens. Okay, so this specific statement has to be included, so be sure and take note of that. And the labeling and disclosure information has to be provided on the package. Or if it's a bulk container, that labeling has to be included on a placard that's displayed beside the container, and a separate document that contains all the required labeling information and the disclosure statement must also be provided to the consumer at the time of sale. So you have to hand them a separate sheet of paper. For products that are sold online, the website itself must include the labeling and disclosure information in addition to the package itself. So here's some quick examples of typical labels. So you'll see here we have J&K Farms, which is owned by John and Kelly Jones at 123 Sesame Street in Hazard, Arkansas. And then we have a phone number. The product is grape jelly. Our ingredients are sugar, grape juice, and pectin. And then we have our statement. This product was produced in a private residence that is exempt from state licensing and inspection. This product may contain allergens, and it was manufactured on 7/28/21. The second label just shows that we have a Act 1040 ID number of 123456 in lieu of the contact information for that producer. Everything else on that remains the same. So what about sales? Sales have to be directly between the seller and the consumer. And these sales may be in person, by telephone, or online. And delivery of the products may take place in person from a retail space at the farm or the home or the office where the food is produced. They can take place by the producer or by an agent of the producer. And they can also use a third-party vendor. So you can have your products in a retail store or a grocery store. However, if they're sold in a store that the Department of Health licenses, then those foods have to be kept separate from food that are made in licensed facilities. They may not be used, or foods that are made under the Food Freedom Act cannot be used in a restaurant as part of their menu. They can be sold in the restaurant if that restaurant has a separate retail space, but they can't be used as part of the menu. They can be delivered using a third-party carrier, so you can mail these products. And they may occur in Arkansas or in another state, provided that the seller complies with applicable federal laws, as well as any applicable laws of the jurisdiction that they're selling them. Prohibited foods. So any product that contains meat, poultry, seafood, or dairy is prohibited. So you can't use those ingredients in your products. Cut tomatoes or cut leafy greens, those are considered TCS foods. But for cut leafy greens, that does not include greens that have been cut from the root in the field, which is known as the harvest cut. But if you cut those leaves more, or you shred them or otherwise process them post-harvest, then they are considered to be cut leafy greens. We also don't allow garlic and oil mixtures and any food of plant origin that is heat treated, except for pickles and acidified vegetables, which we'll talk about here in just a few minutes. And then seed sprouts are prohibited. And just for clarification, microgreens that consist of sprouted seeds that are harvested after the emergence of true leaves are not considered seed sprouts, and they're allowed under food freedom, provided they're only cut once during harvest. If they have roots on them, or the cotyledons are still on or underdeveloped, then they're considered sprouts. We don't allow any low acid canned foods. So low acid foods mean foods that aren't naturally highly acidic. That would include beans, green beans, lima beans, corn, asparagus, cabbage, squash, peas, things like that. So we also don't allow any food that's considered to be TCS, and that would include dairy products such as butter, sour cream, cheese, daily salads like potato salad, coleslaw, or pea salad, or maybe even pimento cheese, casseroles, quiches, spaghetti casserole, squash casserole, taco casserole, anything like that. Foods that require refrigeration, such as tres leches cakes, pumpkin pie, tiramisu, cream or custard pies, and cheesecakes. So what do we allow? That's what y'all really want to know, right? What are we allowed to sell? Well, we can sell all foods that we used to could under the Cottage Food Act: bakery products, jams, jellies, candy, uncut, chocolate covered fruits and berries. But we can also now sell dried, dehydrated, and roasted products such as baking mixes, coffee beans, dried fruit, dried herbs, and seasonings, and soup mixes. We allow icings and fillings such as buttercream, gum paste, fondants, and glazes. And then we also allow for acid and acidified foods. So those are like canned fruits that have a pH below 4.6, canned salsas and tomato sauce and tomato juice that has a pH of below 4.6, pickled products, canned pie fillings, and condiments, all with a pH below 4.6 and have been heat treated to destroy any pathogenic organisms that may be in there. So for acid and acidified foods, there are more specific requirements. First, they have to use a recipe that's approved by us, ADH, or the process has to be confirmed by a process authority to result in a product that has a pH below 4.6. Or alternatively, the producer can test each batch using a calibrated pH meter to confirm that the product has a pH value below 4.6. And each product has to be labeled with a unique number for each batch, or a batch number. You also have record keeping requirements that require you to have the batch number recorded, as well as the recipe that you used, the source of that recipe, or the pH of that recipe, of that batch, as you measured it at the time of packaging. You also need to include the date that that batch was prepared in your records. So to summarize, foods that are prepared under the Food Freedom Act have to be produced in the home kitchen, and they have to be labeled with the name, address, and telephone number, or the ID number from the Department of Agriculture. They have to be labeled with the date that it was produced and the ingredients, labeled with the disclosure statement that this product was produced in a private residence that is exempt from state licensing and inspection, and this product may contain allergens. And then they may be sold at a farmer's market, sold to grocery stores or other retail stores, sold from the home, ranch, or farm where they're produced, sold via the internet, or shipped using a commercial carrier such as the mail. They may not be sold to someone other than the end consumer, so that you can't sell them to someone who's going to resell them, and you can't use them in restaurants as part of their menu. Here is a link to the Food Freedom Act guidelines. I would encourage you to look at it. It contains a lot of helpful recipes and things that you can use, as well as tips on how to properly water bath can and things like that. So if you have questions about what if your product is not listed in the guideline, we do ask that you contact your local health or environmental health specialist at your local health unit to discuss that product and what steps may be necessary to determine whether or not it's a TCS food or non-TCS food, and whether it can be sold under the Food Freedom Act. And with that, I would normally turn it over to questions, but there you have my contact information. Feel free to reach out to me and ask me any questions. Thank y'all all for attending.
Thank you for the updated laws and great information, Jeff. Next, we have Karen Reynolds, Grants and Program Manager with the Arkansas Department of Agriculture. Thank you for presenting.
Thank you for the opportunity to talk with you today. My name is Karen Reynolds. I'm a Grants and Program Manager for the Arkansas Department of Agriculture. I manage these three programs. The Arkansas Grown program helps support and promote the many agricultural products that are grown in the state and the farmers and producers who grow them. The program helps make the connection between growers and buyers, and the network is now close to 1,000 members strong. Homegrown by Heroes is a national program administered by the Farmer Veteran Coalition. The department launched the Arkansas chapter in 2015. Homegrown by Heroes enables farmer veterans to market their products with branding that identifies their products as veteran grown, so that consumers know they are supporting an Arkansas veteran when they buy this product. The Arkansas Made program was launched in 2014 and promotes locally made products, including value-added products such as salsas, jams, and jellies, as well as bakery goods, arts and crafts, furniture, beer, wine, and more. The department restructured the Arkansas Grown and Arkansas Made programs in March 2021, making memberships free to farmers, ranchers, and producers, and includes the use of the program logos. We encourage you to use these logos in your signage, such as at your market, on your storefront, and at vendors' booths at the farmers market. The logos can be incorporated into packaging, such as Holy Cow Beef, Lake in the Willows Honey, Mia McGee Market's Goat Milk Soap, and Kaya Chocolate. Rusty Tractor Vineyard uses the logos on the back of their bottles of wine. The logo can be used online on your website and in your social media. With this restructuring, we introduced the Arkansas Grown and Arkansas Made supporter member for restaurants, retailers, and organizations that sell or support Arkansas Grown and Arkansas Made products. The first year of the new membership, we had 8 companies step up and show their support for Arkansas farmers and producers. By members using these logos, the Arkansas Grown and Arkansas Made programs offer local identification. Membership to these programs also offers opportunities through events. We coordinated with the UALR Campus Garden to host an announcement for the 2021 National Farmers Market Week. This event was well attended and received coverage with a photo in the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Secretary Ward presented Jeremy Adams with a proclamation from the governor announcing Arkansas Farmers Week, which corresponded with National Farmers Market Week, the first week of August. Conversations with Jeremy and other supporters led to the possibility of changing the Arkansas Farmers Market Week to another time earlier in the year so that we can jumpstart the season earlier, maybe early June. This will be discussed in the annual meeting. Arkansas Grown has a history of hosting events called Local Conversations. In 2021, we hosted Local Conversations virtually because of the pandemic. We invited the Department of Health to discuss COVID requirements for markets and what we could expect. Arkansas Small Business and Technology Development Center talked about the free resources they offer for farmers for business planning and development. And the Arkansas Economic Development Institute announced a new free online expense management tool called Track Your Ag. During this Local Conversations, we hosted a panel of 5 members who had been awarded $400 each through the Specialty Crop Block Grant Alternative Selling Methods campaign. These awardees presented the innovative changes they made in their operations to adapt to the pandemic during a panel discussion in the event. The department produced videos demonstrating these alternative selling methods, which are housed on our website. And with all the CARES Act funding available, we decided to host a Local Conversations on how to apply for grants to simplify the process for our farmers and producers. In addition to local identification and events, these programs help our members reach new customers. Studies show that 80% of consumers search online before making a purchasing decision. The pandemic had a significant impact on this statistic. The week following the announcement that the United States led the world in confirmed cases, Google search interest for local food doubled nationally. During the pandemic from December 20 to December 21, Arkansas ranked 3rd in the nation for Google search interest for local food. This shows that there is a strong demand for local food in our state. This is an exciting time to be in this business. How do you take advantage of this demand? When mainstream consumers search for food grown in Arkansas, the chance that Arkansas grown shows up in their search results is strong. If your market does not have a website, participating in the Arkansas Grown Network provides an online presence for free. In May, we launched a new website that is optimized for Google search. It's user-friendly and interactive. It offers each member a customized profile and the ability to manage your page directly. The website offers an interactive map of member locations so that consumers can easily find your market, the markets near them. Each member page is customizable so you can share your market's personality. You can upload your personal cover photo, and you can add a video with customer testimonials, what's happening in your market that day, or footage with different vendors. You can upload a gallery of photos and include your location on a map on the page. Are you hosting a special day at your event? You can also add events by clicking on the Events tab on your page. The website has a series of videos to show you how to manage your page, as well as how to take advantage of the analytics that come with your page. This website is a multi-site platform, the first of its kind in the country, that partners local farmers with a farm-to-school program. This partnership enables school nutrition directors to quickly find Arkansas growers without leaving the website. This partnership also shows our growers which schools in their area are interested in buying local food. The website has a page to show farmers how to sell to schools, and it includes a map of farmers that are interested in local procurement. If you are interested in selling to schools in your area, adding local procurement to your markets page will add your market to the map. This is important because of the Local Food Farms and Jobs Act. In the fiscal year 21 annual report, 130 institutions reported that they intend to work directly with a producer, grower, or farmer. And additional answers included examples such as utilizing farmers markets to identify local products. According to the fiscal year 21 report, institutions spent over $40 million on local food. In addition to these benefits, the program also offers promotional assistance. The Farmers Market Promotion Program is now open and offers cost share of 75% of your market's promotional expenses, up to $400. The program runs until April 29th or until the funds are no longer available. This banner from Farmers and Artisan Market of Harrison is one example of how the funds can be used. The funds can be used for signage, local advertising, and social media campaigns. This is another example from Barnhill Orchards of signage used at the store and again on social media. Another example is a banner from Cabot. Applications can be found on the department website. Also popular is the Farmers Market Bag Program. The bags are heavy-duty reusable paper shoppers that are available at greatly reduced prices thanks to the Farm Credit Associations of Arkansas. These are the steps on how to order the bags. Go to the department website and search for Farmers Market Promotion Programs. Click on the form, which will put you on a wait list until the bags are delivered. Please do not send payment until I notify you that the bags have been produced and can be picked up. The department will contact you once your bags are available and send you the payment request. Once the payment is received, I'll send an authorization email, and the market manager can coordinate with Brady Industries on when is the best time to pick up. Delivery can also be arranged with Brady Industries, and markets are responsible for delivery costs. More promotional items we've been working on at the department include vinyl table runners for your vendor's booth. This is a photo of a prototype. I would appreciate your feedback on this item. Do you think this is anything your vendors would be interested in purchasing for their booths? We also produce these 18 by 24 inch vinyl banners with grommets for Homegrown by Heroes members. Would your vendors be interested in purchasing these type of banners with the Arkansas Grown or Arkansas Made logo? Another idea is this prototype of a metal sign with your market name. Is this something your market would be interested in purchasing? And these we have here, Arkansas grown khaki twill caps with a mesh back. We've decided to offer these to the farmer's market first. The price on these is $15 per cap. Please see me if you're interested. To recap, Arkansas grown, homegrown by heroes, and Arkansas made provide local identification, events, they help reach consumers, and they offer promotional assistance. Communication, collaboration, connection, and community. Please check us out at Arkansas Grown. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. I love visiting sites across Arkansas and seeing those logos posted everywhere. Please reach out to ArCOP or Karen if you need more information or you would like to post these logos at your location. I would like to introduce Jeremy Adams, our go-to guru for everything farm and food related. Jeremy is our Double Up Food Bucks project manager who works closely with markets, stores, managers, vendors, farmers, and everything in between. Jeremy, please share more about Double Up Food Bucks with us.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the Arkansas Farmers Market Association's annual meeting. Our final presentation today is going to be on ArCOP and AFMA's SNAP incentive program called Double Up Food Bucks. If you're not familiar with SNAP and Double Up Food Bucks, that's where we're going to start. The SNAP logo is going to be what's pictured there on the right, and the Double Up Food Bucks logo is what's pictured there on the left. Those are what we use with this program. My name is Jeremy Adams. I'm the Double Up Food Bucks project manager for ArCOP. Here's my contact information. I will share this again at the end of the presentation, and this information is always posted on ArCOP's website. So what is SNAP? SNAP stands for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. This is a USDA funded program run by the Food Nutrition Service. It's a federal program designed to alleviate hunger and malnutrition by increasing food purchasing power for all eligible households who apply for participation. This program has been in existence in various forms since the 1930s. It's really kind of a byproduct of the Great Depression and the First World War. It has rigorous standards for households to qualify. It also provides temporary assistance in the form of disaster SNAP or DSNAP, or something that's a little bit more current is pandemic SNAP that was part of the COVID relief bill. Any type of government food assistance is going to be distributed through SNAP. And if you're approved to accept SNAP in any form, you can accept all the benefits. So really the first step in getting approved is submitting your application to the USDA. Like I said, this is administered by the Food Nutrition Service. It's all online now. We did offer a virtual meeting with USDA representatives today for markets and direct marketing farmers to sign up directly with the USDA. And we had about 6 people take advantage of that today. So I'm looking forward to some new sites for 2022. Once you're approved by the USDA, you do have to have some special equipment to process these SNAP transactions. Your current equipment may be able to process. You definitely want to check with your provider first, but there is a grant to cover wireless equipment for farmers markets and direct marketing farmers. And you can apply for this after you've been approved by the USDA. This is a wireless terminal. It works with your phone. It's kind of similar to the Square. So Double Up Food Bucks is a SNAP incentive program. And what is an incentive? I mean, I think we've all had various incentives in our lives, whether that was to, make good grades or clean our rooms when we were kids or something in the workplace as adults. But Double Up Food Bucks can be looked at as a health incentive. Basically, we're inciting folks to take action around what they eat. We all sort of know that eating healthy is more expensive, and this really makes fresh, healthy food more affordable for everybody. We consider Double Up Food Bucks a win-win-win. SNAP households are able to double their money on fresh local fruits and vegetables so they can bring home more healthy food. Farmers make more money because we try to work with direct marketing farmers and farmers markets, and that money stays in the local economy, strengthening local food versus going off to some corporate headquarters somewhere. So how does it work at the farmer's market? I love this visual because on the left, the picture really illustrates what $20 at the farmer's market can buy. And really, SNAP can purchase any eligible food items at the market. And those include cottage foods, baked goods, jellies, jams. You can also buy eggs and local meat with SNAP. And so then the picture on the right shows what Double Up Food Bucks does. We can match up to $20 in SNAP. The catch is Double Up Food Bucks is only good for fruits and vegetables. So the customer can spend $20 off their SNAP card and maybe get meat and eggs, jelly and jam, and then they can get $20 in free fruits and vegetables. So it really allows them to take home a well-rounded meal from the farmer's market. You'll also notice this picture on the right has a some kind of start there. It looks like maybe a basil plant. SNAP is also eligible to buy plants that produce food. So that's something else that qualifies for them to purchase. So how does Double Up Food Bucks work at the farmer's market? Really, it's ideal that there's one SNAP terminal, and that's going to be located in the welcome booth, information booth. This is where you're going to put up your signage that you accept SNAP, and this is really going to be the first stop for that SNAP customer. Basically, they're going to swipe their card at that machine. The market manager or volunteer who's manning the tent issues out tokens that have a dollar value. So this slide represents two different colored tokens. The tokens on the left are SNAP tokens, and they're eligible to purchase any food item. And then the token on the right is the Double Up Food Bucks token. It says restricted to fruits and vegetables. Basically, after that customer has decided how much they're going to spend at the market today, and they've got their tokens, they then walk around to whichever vendor they would like and use those tokens to purchase food, just like their dollar bills. So token distribution, how these tokens work. Like I said, we can match up to $20 per day. So really that allows the SNAP customer to purchase $40 worth of food. The tokens that ArCOP provides are in $2 increments. So we really encourage customers to purchase with SNAP in even increments. Like I said, those Double Up Food Bucks tokens are good for fruits and vegetables only. And then the program runs from May 1st through October 31st of 2022. So communication is key to Double Up Food Bucks. And we do have a toolkit that helps communicate the goals of this program and why the market's participating. Really, the market manager needs to be able to explain the potential to increase their sales and sort of explain the rules of the program. We have letters that you can issue out to vendors that sell fruits and vegetables and food, and can accept SNAP tokens. We also have letters that you can issue out to vendors that can't accept SNAP tokens. It really articulates the program to them and helps them understand. We also have vendor agreements. Any vendor that's going to participate and receive payment through this program needs to have a vendor agreement on file. We'll talk about a little bit more about that in just a second. Yeah, here's that vendor agreement. It's really just provides in writing a clear set of expectations for the program and what those rules are. They're pretty basic, like we don't provide change for these tokens. They're only good for fruits and vegetables, things like that. Kind of ahead of myself there a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about the record keeping that goes along with this. I tell my markets that they're spending more than 15 minutes outside of the market day on paperwork. We really need to talk because you're overthinking this. There's only two pieces of paperwork that are required for this program. This first one is the customer record sheet. This is where you're going to record every transaction when you swipe the card and issue out tokens. We like to capture the last 5 digits of the card, basically the amount from the SNAP, that you're swiping on the card, and then the amount of Double Up Food Bucks issued. We do also capture data around if they're a first-time customer. That's what the column on the right is. So that's really all the market manager has to fill out for the customer transactions. Then at the end of the market day, there's a vendor record sheet. That's what this is. The market manager would walk around, collect tokens from the individual vendors and record them on this spreadsheet. Each vendor is going to have their own unique line. It's the number of SNAP tokens turned in, the number of Double Up Food Bucks tokens turned in, then the total amount you're going to reimburse to the vendor. And then the very right-hand column is a check number. So we have like a paper trail of where you paid these vendors. And so to verify these transactions, we really need two things. I need an EBT batch report from the processor that these SNAP transactions actually happened. These can be the little individual receipt tapes, but there's also a monthly report that you can log into your service provider's account, basically set a range, let's say from the 1st of May to the end of May, and generate me an Excel spreadsheet of all your transactions and just email it to me. It is, once you get it set up, it is pretty quick and pretty painless. The other thing we need is a paper trail of written checks to those vendors that can be recorded on the vendor record sheet. That's really all we need from the market to run the program. So now I want to talk a little bit about ArCOP's website and where the Double Up Food Bucks information is located. If you haven't been to arkansasobesity.org, I recommend that you check it out. I mean, I'm sure you have because that's where you signed up to participate in the meeting today, but there's a lot of information on there. Specifically, Double Up Food Bucks is going to be located under the What We Do tab under Double Up Food Bucks. We're the very first one. For 2021, we had a pretty good year. We were able to roll out this interactive map of program sites. The sites there in blue represent farmers markets I worked with. The colored locations are our grocery partners. You can actually make this map a little bit bigger, and when you roll over these pins, it actually gives you information about that location. Like this one will be Bell Urban Farm in Conway. There's also information listed about their social media and their website. So this is a really great way for customers to interact with information. Up here in the top left shows how many times this was viewed this past season, and it was viewed just over 6,000 times, which was really mind-boggling. A lot of interaction. So like I said, the farmers markets are represented in blue. Locations we worked with in 2021 were Springdale Farmers Market at Jones Center, the Howard County Farmers Market in Nashville, Hot Springs Farmers Market. We also worked with Five Ray Farm, which is a direct marketing farmer. They participated in their own farm stand, as well as the Clark County Farmers Market and the Hot Springs Farmers Market. We also worked with Saracen Landing, which is the Pine Bluff Farmers Market, farm stand in Southwest Little Rock called the Nursery, Little Rock Farmers Market, the River Market, St. Joseph's Farm Stand in North Little Rock, Bell Urban Farm in Conway, Bologna Farmers Market, the market at McCrory, and Worley's Vegetable Market in Forest City. Those were our Double Up Food Bucks program sites for 2021. I want to talk a little bit about the numbers from last season because it was a big year. We saw a 66% overall increase in Double Up Food Bucks transactions from 2020 to 2021. So just shy of 12,000 transactions. This is at farmers markets and grocery locations. I left groceries in there because I wanted to illustrate that, we had a big year for farmers markets as well. These numbers are strictly for farmers markets and farm stands. We did just shy of 2,400 transactions. That equated to a 70% increase in transactions from 2020 to 2021. So we actually saw a slightly bigger increase at the farmers market. These SNAP customers are interested in shopping local. I mentioned earlier, one of the other things we capture is how many new customers we generate for our participating program sites. Pretty much every year it's been, just shy of 500. This year it was 300, just shy of 350. We did lose one large farmers market this year. And I think it would have been a little bit closer to normal. That market usually had 100 new customers a year. But there's a lot of opportunity. You know, the last couple of years with COVID have been challenging, but there's a silver lining to everything. And one of the silver linings to COVID is more people are interested in local food and shopping locally than ever before. So Double Up Food Bucks 2022, we have some exciting news. ArCOP has received a USDA GusNIP grant to expand Double Up Food Bucks program, primarily in the grocery setting. We are hosting a SNAP retailer virtual sign-up event today in conjunction with the Arkansas Farmers Market Association event. So I think we'll have 5 or 6 new Double Up Food Bucks sites in 2022. And then, you know, really program sites are right in the middle of being determined for the season. I typically have my applications back by the 1st of April. So if you're interested in participating in Double Up Food Bucks and you're already eligible to accept SNAP, you know, I encourage you to reach out to me at jeremy.adams@arkansasobesity.org. I really appreciate y'all's time today. You know, I really look forward to doing this in person and trying to, you know, rebuild some of that networking. But with the weather, we thought this was better than just canceling it altogether. So please, you know, if you have any questions about farmers markets, you know, as the farmers market season moves forward, please just reach out to me. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jeremy. The 2021 Double Up Food Bucks program was such a great success. We all look forward to even a more successful year. Thanks. Okay, now we will open it up for an open discussion. You can go to your chat box and raise your hand, or you can go ahead and ask the question in your chat box and we'll unmute you, or we'll just answer it out loud for you. So whichever you prefer. If we don't hear anything, then we will go ahead and start the open discussion as well, but we want you to have a first opportunity.